Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. I am Star Smart. Let's begin. Well, in a significant development, the Ambazonia National Security Council, ANSC, has announced a comprehensive lockdown across the state of Ambazonia, initially scheduled to begin on September 2nd and end on September 9th, 2024. However, after careful consideration for the welfare of the citizens, the lockdown has been postponed and will now take place from September 7th to September 16th, 2024. Well, this decision aligns with the upcoming United Nations General Assembly session on September 10th, during which Amazonians are calling on the international community to address the ongoing genocide against its people and take substantive actions to ensure the safety and the right to self-determination. The lockdown is intended to draw attention to the stark disparity between the lived realities in Ambazonia and the narratives propagated by the colonial regime of La République du Cameroon. By implementing these restrictions, this lockdown, Ambazonia aims to highlight the severe and persistent security threats faced by its communities and to signal the urgent need for international intervention. But the lockdown period is strategically choosing to emphasize the critical situation on the ground and to protect civilians from potential harm during this crucial time. The ANSC hopes that by limiting movement and interactions, they can reduce risk and underscore the gravity of the situations to global leaders. Well, in a related matter on Undaunted tonight, we see the atmosphere in Ambazonia remaining highly volatile, particularly today being Monday, which is designated as the Ghost Town Day. Well, these Mondays established as a form of civil disobedience against the colonial regime since the intensification of the struggle for self-determination in 2017, it has become increasingly dangerous. On these days, frequent crossfires between the Amazonian State Army and even colonial forces occur. The colonial proxies and pseudo-liberation groups often exploit the chaos to try to infiltrate and attack the genuine freedom fighters. This creates a perilous environment for civilians who venture outdoors. The Ghost Town Days are a strategic move to express dissent and resist colonial rule, but they also present significant risk. Civilians who are strongly advised to stay indoors and to avoid being caught in the crossfire or targeted by armed groups masquerading as part of the liberation efforts. Despite this warning, some individuals continue to ignore the restrictions, leading to tragic incidents and unnecessary casualties. While as Ambazonia continues to fight for self-determination, the rescheduled lockdown serves as a powerful statement to the international community, emphasizing the urgent need for global recognition and action to address the dire situation faced by its people. Well, with that, we'll have the prime headlines now.
Stand with Ambazonia. Empower ABC Amba TV. We are calling on Ambazonians around the world to unite and uplift ABC Amba TV, Ambazonian Broadcasting Corporation. In this critical time of war, ensuring the station's survival is more important than ever. But what does ABC Amba TV truly represent for Ambazonia?
At the heart of Ambazonia's war of independence, ABC Amba TV stands as a beacon. Years of recolonization, annexation, and French Cameroon's oppressive occupation of the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia have led to our exclusion. Our identity was hidden, our history distorted, our sovereignty denied. Queen of England is aware that the British Southern Cameroons were never a colony under France.
Since its inception in 2018, ABC Amba TV has been our lifeline.
Months of diplomacy have failed to resolve the crisis as fear grows over an imminent Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Our work in the dark is our chance to tell our stories to the world, to give voice to the voiceless, and broadcast the truth of our struggle.
We are serious about executing this revolution.
It has become a vital arm of our government in wartime, making diplomacy achievable and showcasing our untold stories.
ABC Amba, you guys know how important ABC is for this, our quest for international recognition.
Your donations can make a world of difference. Every bit of support helps keep our stories alive, our presence known, and our fight in the global conversation.
The moment they notice that we are no longer on air, they think that, oh, maybe La Republic has succeeded. This is about Ambazonia. One thing we must always remember.
Where would we be without ABC Amba TV? Let's ensure we never have to find out.
A revolution is a temporary state of insanity to bring about sanity.
Mobilize, donate, stand with Ambazonia, donate to ABC Amba TV.
Together, let's write the next chapter of our history.
It is better to light the candle than to curse the dark.
Support ABC Amba TV campaign. Ambazonia Independence, voice for the voiceless. Mobilize for change.
Well, these are the prime headlines on Undaunted tonight. We take a look at the ghost town as civilians are caught in the crossfire today. We'll see as well Naseri Clovis, who was once a willing accomplice for La Republique du Cameroon terrorist forces, but now a captive of theirs. We'll take a look as well on the national scene, the territory-wide lockdown declared in Ambazonia amidst escalating security threats and genocide concerns. And onto the African scene, South Africa's engagement at the 2024 FOCAC Summit, the FOCAC Summit, on the foreign scene, Ukraine's president will be taking a plane to Washington, D.C. to talk on how to end the war. And with that, we'll get the news in its full briefings. Well, the atmosphere in Ambazonia remains exceptionally hazardous, especially on Mondays, designated as Ghost Town Days. During these times, frequent crossfires occur between the Amazonian State Army and Colonial forces. Additionally, Colonial proxies and pseudo-liberation fighters, pseudo-liberation groups often exploit these chaotic days to infiltrate and attack genuine freedom fighters, further intensifying the danger, creating volatile conditions and a perilous environment for civilians who refuse to remain indoors and respect the Monday Ghost Towns. While the Monday Ghost Towns was established as a civil disobedience to colonial government since the fight for self-determination escalated in 2017 as a measure to protect civilians and to reduce the risk of harm during intense confrontations. On these Ghost Town days, the people have been cautioned to stay away from the streets and remain indoors. The rise in violence and the presence of armed groups disguising themselves as part of the struggle against the colonial forces make it crucial for civilians to stay indoors and respect the Monday Ghost Towns so as not to be targeted, thinking them to be opposing forces, while the ASA are trying to enforce the lockdown. Now, by respecting the Monday Ghost Towns, individuals significantly lower their risk of becoming unintended casualties. Sadly, not everyone follows instructions. Reports confirmed that a taxi driver was recently killed in mile 16 Bodifamba, Boya, as a result of disregarding the Monday Ghost Town. The driver, who was found violating the Monday Ghost Town, was caught in the crossfire. The situation underscores the critical importance of adhering to safety advisories issued by the Amazonian government and its forces. The recent events highlight that the enforcement of Monday Ghost Town days is not just a political statement, but it is a necessary precaution to safeguard civilian lives. Amazonians are strongly encouraged to adhere to these measures to avoid the dangers posed by the ongoing conflict and the dangerous activities of armed factions during this period. Now, while that was happening in Boya around mile 14, 15, and mile 16, with bikes violating the ghost town scene being burned in Mbati village in Lemenda, 3 people who violated the ghost town on board a bike have also been reported dead, a very sad scenario that no Amazonia wishes to see and could have been prevented but for the disregard to a critical day such as Monday in the southern Cameroons. In other parts of Amazonia, vehicles have been burned as punishment for coming out to ply the roads in violation of Monday's ghost town today, as well as motorcycles. Now, given the complexity and the danger inherent in the current environment, adhering to Monday ghost towns directives emerges as a crucial strategy for civilian safety. By observing these guidelines, individuals significantly reduce their exposure to the violence and risks that characterize this high tension period. The tragic events reported underscore the necessity of compliance, highlighting that while the Amazonian State Army and other armed groups navigate a perilous landscape, the most effective measure civilians can take to protect themselves is to respect the ghost town days and remain indoors. Well, in the studios with us tonight is Commander Elvis, who would help us dive into this particular topic of the Monday ghost towns. We'll have a couple of questions. We're wondering, why do the people not take the Monday ghost town seriously? Is it that the enforcement is not thoroughly done, or is it sensitization has not gotten far? And what exactly are the people allowed to do during such Monday ghost towns? What are they allowed to do, and what are they not allowed to do to prevent certain scenarios like this? Over to you, Commander Elvis.
Thank you, Martin, the panel invited Undaunted once more tonight. I am delighted to be here to partake in this discussion tonight. That question with regards to the Monday Ghost Town is something that no amount of education at this time can remind an Ambazonian of the essence of that ghost town. This has been in place for so long, and I believe all the necessary education has been done. And those that have decided on their own to violate these ghost towns know exactly what consequences are with them. Today, unfortunately, we did see another situation in Boyer, Saco County, where an individual again violated a ghost town, and he had to pay the ultimate price by losing his life. We have advised our citizens to stay at home. It is a civil disobedience, and we expect all of our individuals in Ambazonia to partake in sending this third and unique message to the international community and to our public that we are not part of them and we did not belong anywhere amongst the third. So this ghost town is very symbolic for us, and it's something that at this juncture all Amazonians know. We also understand that La Republic has tried every trick in the book to devour this day, to make sure that it is not respected, so they can claim to the international community that they do have control over our territory. That is not the case. We understand that they do have some traitors amongst us. They do have some that go against these rules that have been put in place. And that is why our ASA, Ambazonia State Army, they are ready to enforce these rules once somebody violates them. And unfortunately, the penalty might come as high as the one we saw today, which is the death of a civilian. In this case, we just can say that there is a saying that of clutch that was being put his way and decided to follow the corpse to the grave. We hope that more Ambazonians will learn from this and stay at home on Mondays and respect the ghost town. Heroes. This day is set aside to commemorate those that are incarcerated. It's also a day that we remember all our prisoners of war or refugees. It's a day that adds symbolic uh, values to the request of our restoration, and that is why we take this very seriously. So thank you again for that question. So can you hear me? Hello, Star. I just want to make sure you can hear me well over there. Mic check. Can you hear me, please?
Stand with Ambazonia. Empower ABC Amba TV. We are calling on Ambazonians around the world to unite and uplift ABC Amba TV, Ambazonian Broadcasting Corporation. In this critical time of war, ensuring the station's survival is more important than ever. But what does ABC Amba TV truly represent for Ambazonia?
At the heart of Ambazonia's war of independence, ABC Amba TV stands as a beacon. Years of recolonization, annexation, and French Cameroon's oppressive occupation of the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia have led to our exclusion. Our identity was hidden, our history distorted, our sovereignty denied.
Queen of England is aware that the British Southern Cameroons were never a colony under France.
Since its inception in 2018, ABC Amba TV has been our lifeline.
Months of diplomacy have failed to resolve the crisis as fear grows over an imminent Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Our work in the dark is our chance to tell our stories to the world, to give voice to the voiceless, and broadcast the truth of our struggle.
We are serious about executing this revolution.
It has become a vital arm of our government in wartime, making diplomacy achievable and showcasing our untold stories.
ABC Amba, you guys know how important ABC is for this, our quest for international recognition.
Your donations can make a world of difference. Every bit of support helps keep our stories alive, our presence known, and our fight in the global conversation.
The moment they notice that we are no longer on air, they think that, oh, maybe La Republic has succeeded. This is about Ambazonia. One thing we must always remember.
Where would we be without ABC Amba TV? Let's ensure we never have to find out.
A revolution is a temporary state of insanity to bring about sanity.
Mobilize, donate, stand with Ambazonia, donate to ABC Amba TV.
Together, let's write the next chapter of our history.
It is better to light the candle than to curse the dark.
Support ABC Amba TV campaign. Ambazonia Independence, voice for the voiceless. Mobilize for change.
Sorry about that technical glitch there, and thank you for staying with us, Commander Elvis. There seemed to be a delay with us getting your feedback, but we got everything you said, and that quite explains a lot. If you would want to expatiate a bit more on Ambazonians during Monday lockdowns, especially Well, there's something that's coming up, which is the lockdown, and every Ambazonian is aware of. But before we get into that report, for you to give us some more details on the line of the upcoming lockdown, looking at the fact that for even a single day lockdown as today, people are disrespecting the Monday ghost towns. We're wondering how would the impact for the upcoming lockdown, which is about 9 to 10 days going to be. Well, before we get into that, we're going to take a listen to Commander Kenneth, who happens to be the spokesperson for the Amazonian National Self-Defense Council. We're going to take a listen to his audio and then we'll get back to you.
Fellow Ambazonians, this one a very important announcement what they bring them to you all today. So make una listen very attentively, especially our people where they did for home front for the 13 counties for the federal territory. One time we're gonna understand say with approval from the office of our Commander-in-Chief, the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, His Excellency Dr. Samuel Ekome Sako, the ANC, will inform all Ambazonians as follows. The national lockdown will be initially planned across the federal territory from September the 2nd through September the 9th, 2024. Don't be moved forward to Saturday, September the 7th, through Monday, September the 16th, 2024. Make a repeat again. The national lockdown will be initially planned across the federal territory of Ambazonia from September the 2nd through September the 9th, 2024. It don't be moved forward to Saturday, September the 7th through Monday, September the 16th, 2024. This change become into place following a meeting, a very important emergency meeting where we take place for inside the ANSC on the 1st of September 2024. Inside that meeting, a lot of things then be reviewed. But one thing where your security house be taken into consideration be that the request from our citizens on the home front, where they ask their federal government for give them a few more days for prepare for this very important lockdown. Why would you regret this change? We will take with people their plea into consideration and we will decide to move the date ahead. But we hereby they still ask for people, say me they go about their daily activities for these few days before the lockdown cautiously, because we value each and every Ambazonian life. No lose your guard. Say the threat from La République du Cameroon don't simply fade away. Please make each and every one of una when I watch una back. Ambazonians, make I repeat here again. Say the lockdown dates, they don't be moved forward. With the new lockdown dates being Saturday, September the 7th through Monday, September the 16th, 2024. For this date, I don't mention them. We expect all 13 counties, 61 LGS local government areas across the entire territory of Ambazonia for being shut down. The security threat from the neighboring La République du Cameroon, they still loom large over our federal territory. So, we call on all those who are there for the federal territory, for Ambazonia, those who are there for home front. We not do everything possible for obey these lockdown dates. We don't talk. We need to call a lockdown just anyhow. We value our lives. We not stay at home for the days when we don't call this lockdown. Please. Make una take this communique very, very seriously. With this lockdown also, we, the Ambazonians, across the federal territory, will send a very powerful message to the United Nations, their General Assembly especially, will be scheduled for go in session on September the 10th. Say make they not continue for the turn a blind eye on the genocide where they be committed on our people by the bloodthirsty regime for La République du Cameroon. The genocidal regime today. They always use this particular period before the UNGA want to hold for always slaughter with people. Then turn around for point a finger at us. They don't always do this by using their bloodthirsty bees and their proxies. So make we Ambazonians, make we stay at home across the federal territory for send this message to them. Say our own lives, they matter as well. At this point, the ANC, they call on all our ASA, the Ambazonian State Army, say make them do everything possible for protect our people and reinforce this lockdown. May they make sure that our people stay safe and make the enemy not come near our people. Today, that is 2nd of September 2024, and we are going to listen to the spokesman of the ANC. Short live the revolution, long live the Federal Republic of Ambazonia.
Well, in light of what Commander Kenneth said, that's because on Tuesday, the Amazonian National Security Council, ANSC, announced a full lockdown across the state of Amazonia, effective from September 2nd to September 9th, 2024. And this decision was made in anticipation of the United Nations General Assembly's first session, which is to happen on September 10th. The purpose of the lockdown was to underscore the ongoing reality of Ambazonia, the current disconnect between the reality in Ambazonia and the narrative propagated by the colonial regime to the world. The state of normalcy that is completely in negation to the truth. Well, by implementing this lockdown, Amazonians aim to send a clear message to the international community about the severe and ongoing security threats posed by neighboring La Republic du Cameroon. The lockdown is intended to protect the nation of Ambazonia from potential harm by limiting movement and interaction during this critical period. The measures highlight the urgent need for global attention to the genocide being perpetrated against the peoples of Amazonia. This lockdown provides another platform for Amazonians to make its voice heard internationally. But as you would have heard Commander Kenneth said, that has been postponed to the current days, as you would have seen. Well, we'll just get back to you, Commander Elvis. We want you to reiterate the new dates, as well as tell us more about this upcoming lockdown. What do you envisage it to be, looking at the current situation in Amazonia? And what are your hopes for the election, and what do you hope the Sorry, I just said elections, I beg your pardon. What are your hopes for the lockdown, I beg your pardon? And what do you anticipate the outcome of this lockdown to be?
So once more, thank you for that great question. It is committee's goal to educate the Amazonian people on the reason for this lockdown. Unfortunately, due to operational security issues, we are not able to divulge all the information as to why we had to change this date from the initial date that was uh, actually suggested. But you got to understand that we're at war, and during war times, if you figure out that your strategy is not, or the enemy has discovered your strategy, you got to change your tactic. We cannot be kind of stable because we already made a decision, and if the enemy switches his stance, we got to also change our tactics accordingly to match whatever the enemy is bringing. Yes, so we at the ANSC, we did have intelligence of the fact that La Republique was planning some action across Ambazonia, and we did act accordingly to make sure that the lockdown is effective as we were tracking the information that was given to our intelligence agents. Additionally, this lockdown does not mean that our ASA will stand down fighting completely. That is not the case. We are at war. We would fight that war any day, anytime, anywhere. These lockdowns essentially to make sure that our people get that time that they need to stock up food for the upcoming day. We understand that the weekend is not essentially starting on the 10th of September, so we have to adjust this date accordingly. Like I said, there are other reasons we cannot divulge that information to the public. Operational security reasons, we keep that within the circles that are or that have that ability, or that are supposed to know the reason for that to be public, and they know accordingly. Again, this is not a personal decision. This is a decision that is taken by the World Council, the Amazonia National Self-Defense Council, which consists of all commanders from all 14 countries. headed by the Defense Department, headed by the Secretary of State, and it reports to the President. So it does have a chain of command and it's not a decision that is taken by any one person. Do we understand that civilian population is confused? Some are confused by this decision, but we want to assure our people that in the command, the Amazonian State Army commanders that are responsible for the areas of jurisdiction, this order is a stand-down order for them. We should understand that the civilian, they are our number one line of defense, and they should use your critical thinking skills when it comes to being judgmental. So if they see our civilians out tomorrow, they should not follow those previous orders that had been put in place as from the 2nd to the 7th of September. They should understand that the order is being given for them to stand down against the civilian population and allow them that time to be able to get their food and stock in and also be able to prepare and get some ammunition for the days ahead will be bloody. We're calling on the Ambazonia people. We understand it's not every decision that is taken that will be supported by the masses. We are not here for some, cherry picking. This decision is to save the lives of Amazonian people. If we can save one life, why not? Let us join hands. The decision has been made. Let our people respect that decision. And we ask our ASA to enforce that lockdown starting on the 7th of September through the 16th of September. That is a 10-day lockdown that will be enforced in all its capacities. We're asking every Ambazonia to make sure that we send this word down to the ground so our people understand that this lockdown that was announced from the 2nd to the 7th has been lifted accordingly for operational security reasons, which we cannot, like I said, divulge to the public, and which is for their own safety. So thank you again for asking that question. And we're looking forward to making sure that all our Ambazonia State Army respect this order and adhere to that chain of command.
Thank you, Commander Elvis. Well, we'll be going on to the next report, talking about a certain Clovis. We know the DDR centers and what all the shenanigans going on there, what it really is about, even though the colonial government seems to purport and try to portray it to be something else. A certain Clovis, who was once a dedicated Amazonian liberation fighter, found himself in the DDR. He was one of those gullible enough to fall for the deceit of the colonial regime and surrendered himself to the DDR centers, a facility that promises to reintegrate fighters into society, but has instead become a tool for not just deceit, but betrayal to their ex-fighters. Well, rather than facilitating genuine reintegration, these centers often use disarmed fighters to betray their former comrades, so to put, aiding colonial forces in locating and eliminating active resistance, which they were once a part of. Clovis was driven by self-interest, not only disclosed the whereabouts of fellow fighters, but also reported his peers in the DDR to colonial authorities to gain favor. But now, Clovis faces a fate similar to that of Moja Moja, having been detained in the SED, the State Security Department of La Republique, in one of their cells, same place where Moja Moja is right now. Well, Clovis, known by the alias Mark Countryman Jr., has recently been incarcerated alongside Moja Moja at the SED facility, marking a dramatic reversal in his fortunes. Clovis, who once collaborated with La Republique forces, is now experiencing the repercussions of his betrayal. This turn of events illustrates the harsh realities that await those who undermine the Amazonian cause for personal gain. The case of Clovis and Moja Moja exemplify the inevitable justice that follows betrayal. Both individuals, driven by their own interest, have acted against the very people they once claimed to be a part of. Their imprisonment serves as a stark reminder that those who betray their cause will face significant consequences. This serves as a powerful message to others considering similar actions. Betrayal will meet fate. While the situation also highlights the broader implications of such betrayals for the Amazonian struggle, the deceit perpetrated within the DDR centers, and the resulting harm inflicted on fellow fighters underscores the critical need for loyalty amongst Amazonian fighters in the fight for liberation. The impact of such actions reverberates throughout the movement, affecting not just the individuals involved, but almost the entire cause. The downfall of Clovis and Moja Moja underscores the dangers of betrayal and the importance of maintaining steadfastness in the struggle for Amazonian independence. Their experiences serve as a cautionary tale, illustrating the severe consequences that await those who go against their own people because karma is laying in wait. As Amazonians continue its fight for freedom, the integrity and dedication of its supporters remain paramount. The path to liberation is fraught with challenges, but the lessons from Clovis's fall is clear. Betrayal will be met with justice delivered by karma. And the pursuit of genuine liberation requires unwavering commitment. With that said, we'll head over to you again, Commander Elvis. We've seen what these DDR centers are. At the end of the day, they just get Amazonian fighters who are gullible enough to fall for the colonial tricks and deceits. They get them in the name of reintegrating them with society and giving them better opportunities and better lives and whatever. At the end of the day, they only use them as tools to get their ex-comrades and ultimately even kill the fighters who they have worked with because they end up revealing their hideouts and more. So in regards to this, what would you say to the current fighters on the ground?
Oh, thank you, for that great question again. As you know, the DDR is a movie. The DDR, what it is La Republic's money-making machine that is put in place by those high-ranking officials, where they actually pay their relatives and their families to come and stay in those housings, so they can account for them as being ex-combatant. Because when you bring somebody into the DDR center, apparently they increase a portion of your salary. So what they do is they'll go to a family out there, take some members of their family, bring it into the DDR center, and then claim uh, reasonable, authority over them, so they can actually write them down as having been converted over to into the DDR center, and that's how they get their paycheck. This is a very corrupt system. Now, as far as Clovis and a couple others are concerned, yes, we do understand that at one point these were genuine Amazonian fighters that went in there to defend their nation. But as things got, some people thought the revolution was a walk in the park. We understood already that there were going to be traitors or those that were going to leave somewhere, surrender halfway. And the worst part is that they left and they decided to sell their own brothers to the enemy, forgetting that if you sell your brother to the enemy, even that enemy would not trust you. You can betray if you betray your brother to the enemy, and that enemy would ultimately look at you as a sellout, and you are not somebody to be trusted. Just like you mentioned, the likes of Moja Moja, the likes of Clovis Naseri, the likes of Number who had to escape from their dungeons. We have many others that have actually been sent to go and die in battle, where they actually take you and they send you to go in front, and then they shoot you from the back. A lot of those that went to the DDR center have actually disappeared. We don't even hear about them. We don't know where they are because they're being killed and dumped somewhere in the bushes. It is better to fight and die for what you believe than to join the enemy and have him kill you for some crumbs, and nobody would ever know where your remains were buried. We continue to advise our Amazonian State Army. Yes, we do understand that there is that corruption down there. Sometimes they throw like a meat at you, hoping that you would catch it, and they can lure you into the dungeons. But there is nothing good that La Republic can do for you. We've dealt with this regime for years. We understand all that is the corrupt system, And for those that want to see before they believe, well, be our guest. Go to DDR Center, and you would just be calling us like the likes of what's the other guy, the brother of No Pity, General. What's his name? I'm kind of forgetting. His yeah, exactly. You know, and those were some great fighters that had respect within the Amazonian Revolution. But the moment they joined the DDR Center, they became traitors. They're even begging for food. They don't even have food to eat. That's how low they are. Some are looking for an escape route. But you know what? Once you become a traitor, just know that your people would never trust you again. We've had those on the ground that have gone that route. We have those in the diaspora that have actually gone that route. The revolution is not a walk in the park, like I said. Some people came thinking it was going to be a quick fix, and when the tough gets going, you see some of the weak ones leave the race. We need the tough ones to stand the race because we have a long way to go. We are probably just starting. There is no nation that will be able to conquer the ideology that is instilled in our people. And that is why we're forever grateful for ABC, because of your continuous education, once you empower the new generation that's coming up, um, there is just nothing that our Republic would do. They would have to pack and leave. And DDR will know DDR, there is no surrender for us. We are going to make sure that this generation hands Ambazonian to its indigenous people, and there is no turning back. The hands of time. We have crossed the red line, and we are going for the finish. So again, the DDR would not turn us back. We've had so many traders, and fortunately enough, La Republic helped us one way or the other get rid of them. They're just using them for the meantime. They know exactly where they belong because the enemy does not trust them either. So it's a waste of time for them actually going into the hands of the enemy, thinking that the enemy will welcome them. Where are the jobs that they promised them? Where's the education? They don't even have food. What a shame. So we calling on all our genuine ASA, Ambazonian State Army. They know better. I am still to see any one of them go over to the DDR willingly. Maybe it was a little, excitement back then, but thank God they have been able to realize the trap that they have been put in. And as a matter of fact, we are having more that of big soldiers handing their weapons over to the Ambazonia State Army and begging for exit into neighboring countries. Today, matter of fact, we had an ambush in Bowie County where the Amazonian State Armies moved over into neighboring La West region and deleted 3 terrorists. Guess what? Right after that action, we've got reports that those that were left behind deserted. Some had to run into neighboring Nigeria, and they're seeking for their way out. We encourage those Greek terrorists that have been sent to Ambazonia to take that route. There is no reason for you to fight a war that is a lost battle for you. You're better off being alive in another country than fighting, knowing that you're fighting a lost battle in Ambazonia. Again, Ambazonia is a cemetery for any Republic terrorist. It's a shame that they come over to kill our people for an octagonal fellow that is wearing diapers in Yaoundé and cannot even articulate to his people what they stand for. We are, as Ambazonians, know where we're going to. We know why we're fighting. And as a man, you know what? They say it's better you die fighting for something. And if it means fighting to free your people, then that is what we as Ambazonians would die for. And for that, we are ready. We are ready. And I call on all Ambazonians to join hands. This is a fight for all of us. It's not a fight for some of us. Because at the end of the day, all of us will go back home, will develop the country, we'll be able to play politics, we'll have different political opinions, and we'll build the country to the taste and the value that we also desire. So thank you again, Star, for that great question. And we just wish that our traders will learn a lesson from these and stop trying to sell their own to the enemy.
We cannot indeed overemphasize the future of Ambazonia, which is very bright. Just before you go, I'd like you to give us your last words for tonight on Undaunted, reiterating especially about the lockdown, the needs to knows, and any other aspect you might have left out. The lockdown is starting September 7th to 16th of September 7th to 16th. So any other information you'd like to give out there, any other piece of information you'd like to deliver, just do so quickly and we'll get on with the news.
Sure. I just want to reiterate again to the Ambazonian public. We understand that during war times, the decisions that are made due to the change in tactics on the ground. And again, to be more clear, for operational security reasons, we call them OPSEC reasons, we do not divulge our intelligence to the public. Those that are privy to this information, the Ambazonia National Self-Defense Council, they made these decisions under due consultation. And it was in the best interest of Ambazonia that this lockdown that was initially called from the 2nd through the 7th of September, through the 9th of September, be adjusted accordingly. So the new lockdown dates are the 7th of September through the 16th of September. We're calling on all Ambazonians to respect this lockdown, stay at home, use these days that are coming up, buy food, stock food at home, and we're calling on our Ambazonian State Army, do not let your guards down. These times are very dangerous times for all of us. The reasons for this lockdown have been clearly articulated, and it is your responsibility to obey those orders. Do not let La Republic have an upper hand in any way, shape, or form. This is the time where our civilian population join us, the Ambazonian State Army, in actually providing this civil disobedience to the international community to let them understand that they cannot continue to turn a blind eye while our people are being massacred, while the UN General Assembly is holding. So we're calling on the population to effectively, as from the 7th of September, abstain from any public activities. Anybody that goes against this order does not value his or her life, and they know exactly what price that they would have to pay. We would not like for our civilians to get caught in any crossfire. Again, the information we've had with La Republique planning multiple actions across our territory is something that we do not take lightly. It is our responsibility that when we hear such plans, we make sure that our national territory is safeguarded. And for that reason, we adjusted accordingly. So we're calling on our civilian population to remain vigilant. They are our number one line of defense, and the reason for which we are fighting to make sure that our cultural values and our people will remain protected at all times. So I call on our people again for their understanding. I understand that some Amazonians are not delighted with the decisions that were made to have these dates changed, but trust your Amazonian National Defense Council, trust your government officials that you have put in place to be able to execute and take decisions on your behalf, that due consultations were made and the right decision was reached. It is not a matter to please one individual, it is a matter of operational security, and we make sure that safety and security comes first. And for that, we're grateful for all Ambazonians for your service and your sacrifice to our great nation. We're also grateful for all the donors that have been able to support various counties that went through their county drafts. Support ABC for the wonderful job that they're doing. And we continue to ask Ambazonians that we should continue to push our support until we flush La Republique out of our territory. So thank you again, Star, for inviting me over tonight. And it was a pleasure being on studio.
It was a pleasure having you here as well. Thank you, Commander Elvis, and have a good night. And on to the news, we'll head on to the African report. On the African scene, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa arrived in Beijing on Monday for the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation FOCAC Summit, which begins on September 4th. South Africa, the continent's second largest economy and a BRICS member, is a significant trade partner for China. In 2023, trade between the two nations reached $55.6 billion, accounting for about 20% of China's trade with Africa. Siyabonga Cyprian Swele, South Africa's ambassador to China, highlighted emerging opportunities in the new energy sector and the need for technological advancement in various fields. The summit team, collaborating to promote modernization and establish a high-level China-Africa community for a shared future, will feature high-profile attendees, including Chinese President Xi Jinping and UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. The event is set to reinforce China-Africa relations and will be China's largest diplomatic gathering in recent years. Still on the African scene, we saw the killing of Libyan human trafficker Abdelrahman Milad. Abdelrahman Milad, a prominent Libyan human trafficker and former Coast Guard commander, was killed in Tripoli on Sunday. Milad, who has been sanctioned by the United Nations Security Council for his involvement in human trafficking and violence against migrants, was shot by unknown assailants while in his vehicle. The circumstances surrounding his death remain unclear, and no group has claimed responsibility yet. Milad's death comes amid ongoing instability in Libya, which has been divided between rival administrations and plagued by corruption since 2011 overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi. While his killing highlights the continued turmoil in the country, a key transit point for migrants seeking to reach Europe. And for Chidinma Adesina, she wins Miss Universe Nigeria. Chidinma Adesina, who withdrew from the Miss South Africa pageant due to controversies over her nationality, has been crowned Miss Universe Nigeria. The 23-year-old law student, whose father is Nigerian and mother Munzabikad, faced scrutiny over her eligibility for Miss South Africa, leading to her withdrawal. An investigation cleared her of wrongdoing regarding her identity. Adesina's victory in the Miss Universe Nigeria pageant will allow her to represent Nigeria in the upcoming Miss Universe. Coming up next is news across the globe. On the global scene, Ukraine's president will be taking a plan to Washington, D.C. on how to end the war by forcing Russia to pursue a diplomatic solution. Kyiv independent reporter Francis Farrell has been to the Russian area of Kursk, now occupied by Ukrainian forces, and has first-hand knowledge of the entrenched battles in the east of Ukraine. And for China, it vows to beef up Belt and Road Initiative ahead of Africa Summit. Ahead of a 3-day summit with African leaders starting on Wednesday, China has vowed to beef up its vast Belt and Road Global Infrastructure Initiative, promising high-quality cooperation. Africa is already a key Belt and Road Initiative BRI region, with Chinese companies signing contracts there worth more than $700 billion between 2013 and 2023, according to Beijing's Commerce Ministry. However, China's investment in the continent has been slammed by critics who accuse the BRI of saddling countries with exorbitant debt or funding projects that damage the environment. Kenya's standard gauge rail, built with finance from Exim Bank of China, connects the capital Nairobi with the port city of Mombasa and has cut journey times from 10 hours to 4 since opening in 2017. While U.S. Navy Achilles heel in Indo-Pacific gives edge to China, Pentagon banks on Asian allies to boost its navy. Well, in the coming decade, the U.S. Navy will be stretched thin to counter the burgeoning numerical strength of the Chinese PLA Navy in the Indo-Pacific. The U.S. Navy that will deliver the wrath of the U.S. beyond its border has an Achilles heel, not the lack of warship, but trained crew to man those warships. The shortage of qualified mariners is forcing the U.S. to sideline 17 support ships, impacting the logistics backbone of the force. A plan drafted by the Military Sea Lift Command suggests that to resolve the shortage of qualified mariners, the U.S. Navy will dock the vessels for extended maintenance period as its crew is redistributed. I mean, that we've come to the end of Undaunted tonight. But before we go, let's have the recap. On Undaunted tonight, we brought to you the Ghost Town today as it takes a sad turn with defaulters facing the consequences and Naseri, Clovis, once a willing accomplice to La Republique du Cameroon terrorist forces, now they're captive. We also brought to you the territory-wide lockdown declared in Ambazonia amidst escalating security threats and genocide concerns. On the African scene, South Africa engagement at the 2024 FOCAC summit, and on the foreign scene, Ukraine's president will be taking a plane to Washington, D.C. to talk on how to end the war. And that is it for Undaunted tonight, bringing into the news, untold stories. I am Star Smart. We'll leave you with ABC Amba TV images. Good night, and God bless you.